All right, I got to figure it out. Watch me figure it out. I guess that's what this whole channel's about, right? I'm like, I don't know how to do any of this stuff. I'm just figuring it out. All right. Yeah, let's go figure it out. Hello, friends. Welcome back to another day in the bathroom. It's Friday night. This is where I like to spend my Friday nights. Days of going out and hanging out with people over. Bathrooms in. All right. This evening's plan is to continue on with the plumbing here, and I want to get some of these lines roughed in. I ordered a bunch of fittings and stuff for all this. I don't think I have it all, but I've got most of it on the way. And I did my research, and I'm going to do a back-to-back installation here, which means I can just flip this cartridge upside down, and then the hot and cold will be right. Proper. I don't know. So that's my plan here. That's what I'm going to run with. If it doesn't work out, I tried my best. Today, I think the first thing I'm going to do is install these drop ears. That's what they're called, which is what's going to screw to the wall like this. And then the shower head is going to attach right there. It'll probably actually sit like this. I need to place them. So one's going to go right about in there somewhere. I need to find the center of the shower here. It's not going to be centered on the window, just how the layout worked, but I don't think it really matters. And I got to pick the height. You know, I want it high, but not too high, because we are going to have a rainfall like right in here. I got to figure that out. I'm going to place this. I'm also going to place that one over here. Hopefully it doesn't land right on that stud. Looks like it might, so that might be fun. And then these will give me two hard points, basically, that I need to plumb to. So from there, I can run my lines down the wall, onto the floor, up into here. And for now, I'm just going to run them long, like, I don't know, probably up to here, so that I can maneuver it and hook it up once I have these fittings. But I'm just going to rough it in for now, not worrying about connecting it. So I can keep moving on this. And then these will run up high somewhere, and then I got to figure out how I'm going to get through this. Probably come up this bay and then over. But first things first, and see what else we can solve today. All right, I'm going to go grab the laser and get this thing set up. All right, I got my laser all set up right down the center. So that's where this shower head's going to land. Looks a little weird off center of this window, but the tile is actually going to stop in the middle of this wall, and there'll be a glass divider. So that's actually the center of this shower space. Hopefully it doesn't feel too weird with that with the window right there, but that's what we're going to do. And then over here, I can't see it. There we go. Thankfully, I just missed that stud, which is perfect, because that will give me a place I can easily screw a block into and recess the drop ear a little bit so that it doesn't protrude past the surface of the tile. All right, so now I got to decide my height. I don't know. I'll probably do a little Googling. Maybe like here. That's my guess. I don't know. I'm going to do that. Then I'll probably recess this down a little bit and then screw a dedicated block right there to catch the drop ear. Yeah. All right. Let me figure that out, and we'll pick back up when I know what I'm doing. All right. I just discussed with the missus and went and measured our other shower, and I think my guesstimate up here is just about perfect. We didn't want the shower head to be down here in front of the window, and our shower head in the other bathroom hangs down about 6 inches, and that's like, we put the bottom of it like just at the top of the window, which I think is okay. This feels a little high right now, but the floor is gonna get raised up here once we do the pan and stuff in here. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put it basically right where my mark is, put the other side at the exact same spot. And so next thing I'm gonna do before I go do that is figure out how deep this thing needs to be. So if I stick it on top like that, you see this drop ear is like Well, how far does that stick off the surface? That might actually help me. What is that, like 1.75 inches? Should be 1/2 inch backer and then tile on top of this. And I think I want this basically flush with the back of, or the front face of the backer board, which would then give the thickness of the tile and the mortar as kind of a bit of the gap, so that, you know, you can screw your shower head in, but this stupid thing isn't sticking out past, because once you put that little flange over it, you know, it's not going to cover it super well. I don't know, I'm probably overthinking it, but I definitely can't do this because that would make it stick out past like 3/4 of an inch, which would be no bueno. So I think what I'm going to do is basically just do this. That's 1 inch. That would put it basically flush with the tile, which feels pretty good to me. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut a scrap of this. Actually, I'm going to use this here furring strip that I've had sitting in here for the longest time. I'm going to get my router. I'm going to mill out basically a pocket in this foam where that piece of wood is going to sit in. I'm going to attach that to the concrete back with some concrete screws. Then I can just screw this just like that to the face, and then we can run all the plumbing. All right, what are you doing, Evan? Talking too much. All right, I'm gonna go figure this out. That worked fabulously, actually. Foam's super easy to mill out, of course, and this got nice and flush, so these boards that wrap the window can go on top of it, no problem. Super solid one there. But yeah, the next challenge is like, how do I got this piece of pipe here. How do I get this pipe to stay in the wall? One, I'm trying to solve a problem that doesn't exist yet, but I'm anticipating that's what's going to happen. But anyhow, I need to get this over through here, and it does technically sit under this surface. Like, it's the diameter of this pipe is smaller, just barely, than the thickness of these furring strips. So technically I could run it just like that and it would be tucked away. But I also, because I printed out, I found this model online and printed out some of these like supports, like clamps, that I could attach the pipe to the wall just so that it's not free floating in there. I like that idea, especially where I have two pipes over here, and that adds some thickness. So basically I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to do that. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this furring strip off. I'm going to use my router again. I'm going to mill a slot so I can come over here. I'd like to do this without a fitting. Screw it. I'm just going to put a fitting in the wall. Put an elbow right here so I can turn down and then come down. And then we'll try and snake them in behind here. Then another pair of fittings to come in. I need to keep them really high because the shower niche is going to be here, and I'd like the shower niche as high as it can be. These pipes need to hug the top and go straight into there. Otherwise, I would have to bring them out here and down, and I don't want to do that. All right, I think I just gotta dive in and try something. And if it doesn't work, I'll try something else, because that's the only option. All right, I think this is gonna work great. That slot is like perfect. Sits nice and flush under there. I'm gonna just put an elbow in here. I always try to like avoid putting any fitting at all in a wall if I can help it. And with PEX, it's so flexible. I was gonna try and do, one continuous run. I think I need to give up on that in this situation. Just stick the fitting behind the wall. It should be fine. Hopefully that's not my famous last words. I need to get a smaller base plate for my router. I put this giant square foot of acrylic on here because it makes it super nice to have a nice stable surface when you have the space. Problem is when you don't have the space, now you can't use it. So I have a smaller base plate I need to go swap out and put on, and then I can finish this up to the top. And this is where the rainfall head is going to go. Then down here, right where these two come down, I am going to try and turn like this. I'll probably just have to do some hand carving. I don't think my router's going to get in there. And I'm going to try and snake right under this furring strip, behind and into this cavity. I don't know what I'm doing, if you can't tell. But I need these to come in just like that. And then they can run down here, no problem. That's my thought. I can't take this top plate off, which is kind of a bummer. I'll just hack at it with my, hack at the foam underneath there with my knife, and I'm sure it won't look nearly this pretty, but it'll get the job done. At the end of the day, it's all buried behind the wall. You'll never know. I don't even think I need these things now. Like, that pipe sits in there so well. We'll see how the pipe fits. I'm going to put my respirator on because I can already feel that insulation getting me. And then, yeah, I don't know, do something. All right, that's what I ended with. We'll see how the pipe makes this turn. You can tell where I had to hack at it a little bit, but I think ultimately the pipe will fit in there. This corner is pretty weak. It's just the corner of this sheet, but I think I'll have my two fittings. My 90s will come out right there, and if they have to, like this one that's lower, could probably angle straight up and over, and that'll be plenty of space. It'll honestly be a miracle if I don't drive a screw through one of these. You know, I've done that before. I think it looks pretty good. Goes up and out the top. So from here, I'm going to start cutting pipe. I'm going to start with, I guess, the inner one, because actually now that I'm thinking about it, the pipe's going to push against here. It'd be better to have the outer one, but I don't have the rainfall in. Okay, I guess next I'm going to put the drop ear for the rainfall. While I'm up there, I'm also going to throw a couple structural screws in that joint. This is just a lap joint right there, but really that should go all the way into this, on top of this top plate, but the cast iron's right there, so that's why it doesn't. But I'm not too concerned, but I am going to put, all that tile on here, which is going to be heavy. But then again, there's like plaster up there in the first place. Nevertheless, I've got the screws. I'm going to throw them in there. All right, I got to figure it out. Watch me figure it out. I guess that's what this whole channel's about, right? I'm like, I don't know how to do any of this stuff. I'm just figuring it out. All right. Yeah, let's go figure it out. All right, check this out. I set up the laser up high so I get the plane at which that shower head's gonna be. And then I went and made these blocks, but what I failed to realize was that I needed to be 1.13/16 away from this face, and I was like, I'll just cut this scrap. I'm trying to use material the best I can. So I'm just using scraps here. I was like, I'll screw it into end grain. It's not the best thing in the world, but at the end of the day, like, it's just a drop ear to hold the shower head. But now I'm realizing that the center line of my drop ear needs to be right here. This laser represents the top edge. So I need it to be like that, which is gonna, is a problem with this piece. So what I think I'm gonna do, since I have my router right here, I'm just gonna route out a spot for this thing to sit right like that. I don't think I've any screws or anything in there. So, all right, I'm gonna quit yapping and start routing. You know, I never would have considered myself a perfectionist, but these are the moments when I'm like, what are you doing? This is what I'm like fretting so much over, oh, is it a 16th this way or that way? Or it's like, if I can't tell now with lasers and levels and lines, you're literally never going to be able to tell once the shower head's installed, and you can't see both of them at the same time anyway. So what's it matter? Just catch myself spending way too much time on the little details like that. And I should have just screwed it on, and it's within a 1/4 inch, whatever. I think it's better than that. I think it's probably a 16th. Far more accurate than it needs to be. But hey, if I'm doing it, might as well do it right. At least that's what I tell myself. I want to get this pipe, at least that one, in. Sorry, you can't see that. That one in to the elbow and down. I don't know if I'm going to cut this stud or not. I got to check the time. It's probably 9 o'clock. Yep. Wow. He's good at estimating time. Yeah. I'm going to get that elbow in. Then I'm going to call it for the night and pick it up in the morning. Excited to get this stuff plumbed in. I was going to try and do the vent today because it's supposed to get hot this week, and working up in that attic is just going to get worse and worse the hotter it gets. So maybe if I get this in, I'll start with that tomorrow. Knowing me, I'm not going to do it, and then I'm going to procrastinate, and then before you know it, it's 100 degrees up there, and I'm just going to be sweating. For some reason, that's how things tend to go for me. I'm calling it there. Got this pipe in. It'll go to this shower head. Runs in here nicely. Then I did install one of these little 3D printed brackets. And before any of you 3D printers out there tell me PLA is just going to melt as soon as hot water hits it, this is ASA. Engineering filament. Ritzy. That's high temp stuff, so it'll be totally fine. I might put another 1 or 2 in here depending if it needs it, because I have them. Then I gave this place a little bit of a clean. It's still kind of a disaster, but just trying to clean slate a little bit so when I start here tomorrow, I don't have to start with cleaning. That's it. I think that was a good day. I'm happy to have those installed. I think running the pipe to that one will be way easier than this stuff in the wall. One step closer. One step closer. That's it for tonight. I still want a little bit of my Friday evening, so not working until the wee hours. We'll catch you in the morning.